Some of you may know this song from the 1990 FIFA World Cup. Some of you may know it from the Three Tenors. The story of this song is bizarre. I can't wait to tell it to you. Straight away. What tone, right? Okay, before we get into the main theme of this, I want to talk about the style of singing. Pavarotti trained and is a master of bel canto style of singing, which means beautiful singing in Italian. Fun fact, Pavarotti did not start out as an opera singer. Yes, he first wanted to be a goalie, a football goalie, and his father was a baker and an amateur tenor, and he used to play a lot of opera music when he was younger. So when his dreams of being a goalkeeper were put to one side, Pavarotti decided, I'm going to train in opera, and this led to his very specific style. He, although maintains a lot of the technique around bel canto style, he also will prioritize the drama and the storytelling. Now, there are a couple of things that contribute to his style. It's his breath support and his resonance. You can hear how resonant he is, how big that sound is, how warm that sound is. That is defined by his breath support and his ability to control how much air that he is using. But it's also defined by the shape of his vocal tract and a thing called covering. Now, I'm going to play you a little clip that really shows you what covering in opera is, and Pavarotti's version of this.
Sound must be covered, and it is, in my opinion, the real key of the entire situation. You can suspect a strangle, If you do is easier after 20 years, of course. But
this is really interesting to me because Pavarotti is known for not always covering, for sometimes making that slightly narrower sound for dramatic effect, and it's all about dramatic effect in his sound. There's something really interesting that he does right at the start here, so I'm going to play that. Instead of nesum and going straight to the vowel, which is what you would often expect from an opera singer, he closes that consonant it's almost an actually before he slides up and opens that big vowel. What's Nessun Dorma even about? I've said he's a great storyteller, he has great dramatic effect. What is he trying to tell us? Well, it's actually something that I find very surprising. And I'm going to go and listen to some more, but to give you a clue that Nessun Dorma means none shall sleep. So emotional. Packs a punch, right? I wanted to see if he did that there, but at the start of this big phrase, he actually doesn't in-breath through the nose. Should we use our nose or our mouth to sing? Well, it's kind of interesting. There's different schools of thought. Breathing through the nose and focusing your attention on the back where the soft palate is, which is really, really important, specifically in opera singing, and raising that soft palate can often help create a little bit more of that covered sound. So it's almost, to some people, like a yawn or a surprise. It's lowering your larynx, your voice box here, bringing it down a bit, and that's why often people will say you need a low larynx for singing, because that comes from opera. I would like to caveat that by saying you often need a low larynx for opera singing. You do not need it for all singing, but it can help with resonance and reduction in tension. The other thing is that he is expanding or increasing his pharynx, which is essentially the tube from your larynx, your vocal cords down here, up to your lips. So he can be expanding that wider by creating a big space. He can be raising his soft palate, he can be moving his tongue forward, and just creating a big space. And this can be quite specific to opera singing, and opera singing is a unusual type of singing. You're moving your vocal tract, your pharynx, your tongue, your larynx into places that are not so natural for it. There are always some people whose voices are a little bit more naturally suited to this sound because of the shape of their anatomy. They don't have to create a shape that's as far away from their natural resonance than perhaps I would have to, but it still does require training. Okay, I promise I'll tell you the story on the next round. We often think of opera as being high art, but actually, of the time, it's like the EastEnders. And if you don't know what EastEnders are, because you're not from the UK, it's kind of got the soap opera sort of stories to them.
We have ruined our family, says the woman who slept with her husband's disgusting cousin. Fabulous genes.
And the story of Turandot, which is the opera that Nessun Dorma comes from, is really interesting. And fun fact, it was written by Puccini, but it wasn't completed. So the final act was actually written by a guy called Franco Alfano after Puccini's death. Such great dynamics. I love that. The way he really punches that consonant and makes it really, really bouncy. I haven't heard anyone else sing it quite like that and give it such drama. If you can find a version that has as much emotion as Pavarotti, I would love to hear it. So please, if you find a version, pop it in the comments. So, the story of Turandot. This is an opera set in China, and we have a princess and her father, and the story goes as often these stories go, he's trying to marry her off. She is a callous and cold princess and says no. So the emperor says, I tell you what, why don't we set potential suitors 3 riddles. If they don't pass these riddles, then you get to kill them. And if they do, you have to marry them. And she says, alright, that sounds fun. This guy, Caliph, he turns up and says, I want to marry her. She sounds awesome. So he does the riddles. He actually gets them right. And she's like, I really don't want to marry this guy. I think he's pretty horrible. He's like, well, I'll tell you what, let's make a little deal here. I'll give you a riddle. If you don't get this riddle right, you have to marry me, but if you get it right, you get to kill me. You have all night to think about it. The riddle is, you do not know my name, tell me my name before sunrise, and at dawn I will die. So the princess is like, right, I really don't want to marry this guy. So she calls to her kingdom, no one's going to sleep until they find out this guy's name. She finds this lady who's been talking to him, and she's like, you've got to know his name. And this lady's like, no. She's callous and horrible, so she tortures this lady, and this guy's just watching. And he sings Nessun Dorma, I will win the princess, I will win. After Nessun Dorma is actually where Puccini wrote to, and this final act is not actually Puccini. In the morning, she goes to meet Caliph, and she still does not know his name, although that's not the answer to the riddle. The answer is not Caliph. And she says to him, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to marry you. And in classic, old opera style, he grabs her and kisses her. At this time, it's not seen as assault. And she's like, oh, I've just discovered I don't just hate you, I love you and hate you at the same time. And she realizes, I know your name. It is love. The end. Don't get relationship advice from operas. So this is the people singing, no one will know his name and we must last die. I'll put the lyrics here. Okay, here it goes. Go listen to that one more time. That is a B4. That's really high. Often there is a break for most men around the A, and he has such weight and power up there. He has that really covered sound, that big open sound. This note is not just challenging because of how high it is, but for how long you need to sustain it. So all that technique, all that breath support, covering of the sound, the open tone, the resonance, everything needs to be on point. And I do not know anyone who does this better. So let's go back one final time. Wow. And right there for me captures it all. It's not just his voice and his technique, it's actually his slight wandering from the technique. It's his ability to take music and make it into an emotional experience, and he does that. It's so thrilling to watch. Before you go, I have just released my very own album. It is not an opera album, but it's something a little bit different, and some of the songs are available here on YouTube and on Spotify, and the whole album is available on my website bethroars.com. I'd love if you could check it out. Alright, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Rar.